Hello, fellow members of Southern Figs Forum. Today, I will show you my method for rooting fig cuttings like these during the long, cold months in New Jersey. I have been very successful with this approach over the past year and hope you will have similar results. It should only take you about a few minutes to prepare 4 to 5 cuttings. First, let's talk about the materials you will need. Start with a sanitized plastic shoebox like this one. The cuttings that you'll be working with, and approximately 2 to 3 cups of coconut coir. I clean each shoebox with Dawn antibacterial soap before using it so I can limit the risk of any unwanted mold growth. It is important to keep your coir barely moist. If your coir is too wet, you will rot your cuttings before they root for you. Have a razor knife available, and rooting gel, such as Clonex, is highly recommended. You'll need a Q-tip to apply the gel, or a small brush. I used to use powdered rooting hormone, but my results were far less acceptable, that method. You'll also need a heating mat, such as this one. It's a 17-watt mat available at Walmart or online for about $12. And in addition, I use a piece of aquarium pinky filter material as well in my method. Now for the process. First, take each cutting and locate the lowest node. I gently scrape off the bark to expose the cambium layer on each side of that node. There's no need to go too deep. And I typically scrape up about 1 inch from the bottom of each cutting. For today's demo, I will be using both Violette de Bordeaux and Olympian varieties so that members can see if there's any difference in the rooting progress for these two varieties several weeks from now when we check back in again. So after scraping your cuttings, open up your Clonex jar, and you'll notice the gel is purple in color. This makes it very easy to see where you have applied the rooting hormone. Apply to the scraped areas, over the bottom of the cutting, and around the first node. These will be the areas which generally produce the new roots for you. After applying the gel, set your cutting aside and continue with the others. Next, I pour about 2/3 of the coconut coir into the shoebox. I mound it in such a way where it is shallower near the wall and a little deeper towards the center of the box. What this does, it allows the cuttings to point upwards away from the bottom of the box, avoiding any direct contact with water that may condense and pool at the bottom. Place each cutting onto the core and space them evenly. I make sure that the bottom node is always facing up. I limit each box to approximately 4 to 5 cuttings so that I can limit any root damage that may occur when it's time to pot them up. You'll notice some varieties of figs put out very aggressive root systems, so even with as few as 4 cuttings in the box, you might find that the roots will begin to tangle. So resist the temptation to crowd the box. Limiting the number of cuttings also limits your losses should any unwanted mold develop, or if you have added too much water to your core. After the cuttings are in place, cover them with the remaining 1/3 of core. You can use a small spatula or spoon to gently press the core in place so that the cuttings are secure and won't be moving during the rooting process, and maintain good contact with the core as well. Now, simply cover the box. You'll see that I have put the varieties on the label and the date of processing so that I know when I can begin to expect roots. Finally, take your seedling mat, place the pinky filter on top, and the box of newly processed cuttings on the filter. I avoid direct contact with the shoebox and the seedling mat because I find the coir gets too hot. And after all, we want to warm the coir and not cook our cuttings. I've never had to check temperature, and rarely have I had to add any water. You'll also note that the heating mat can handle 2 shoeboxes at one time. It's important to be patient. Your reward should come in about 2 weeks' time. Some cuttings may root sooner, others may take longer. Don't rush. More roots equals more success. So thank you for watching my video. If you try this method, please post your results for other members to reference. Thanks again.